And then a company who is specialized in R&D may only focus, specialized in the production, may only focus on productions. So their production capacity is big enough, and then they are really good at producing the products with low defect ratios, or they are producing the products to meet the due delivery time, and then the company can be called as very good at production. Okay. There are some companies who are very good at marketing. Some companies, some well-known brand companies, do not have their own production facilities at all because they are good at marketing, but they are not good at production. Okay. And some companies are really good at sales of the products. The sales forces of that company is very outstanding, but they may be very poor in R&D or the production. When I was a management consultant, I did some consulting projects for the Samsung life insurance. And selling the life insurance product is very tough because it's not tangible, it's not feasible. It's intangible product. So salesman of selling life insurance product is very good at selling in terms of the selling skills, in terms of the sales skills. And Samsung Life was one of the best in terms of the their salesmen's sales skills. So in case of the Samsung Electronics, their core competency is R&D and production. And in case of the Samsung Life Insurance, the core competency of the company is sales. And there are other companies who are very good at marketing but not good at all the other the activities in the value chains. Let's assume a dollar retail shops. So they can sell a lot of products at a very cheap price of around $1. Do they make all the products they are selling from their own factory? No, that's impossible. They go around the entire world to find out the suppliers who can supply the very reasonable performance level of the products at a very cheap price. So the sourcing capability is one of the core competency of a dollar shop. Once they can find out the suppliers at a lower price than the competitors, so they can sell a lot of products at a competitive price. Okay. Maybe other company may be very good at after services. Okay. So in order to identify core competency of a company, you have to look at all the different activities in the core value chains, starting from the R&D, purchase of the raw materials, production of the products, and marketing, sales, delivery of the products, and then providing the after services. There are other activities to include to create the values, not from the core activities in the value chains. For example, the company has a lot of important step activities. That means the finance. That means identifying the best available financial best available the institutions to give the money to you. Or if you have a lot of money inside the company, that's your resources. And then some companies are really good at managing those internal financial resources and others. And also the skills of merger and acquisitions. M&A skills may be one of the core competency of a company. In Korea, the conglomerate named SK is well known for their outstanding M&A skills. In the early stage of SK conglomerate, they are a very small company relative to their competitors, but they are good at acquiring and merging other companies. So all their growth so far is based on the M&A activities. So they acquired one of the best oil and gas refining company, and then they acquired one of the best telecom company, and then again they acquired one of the semiconductor manufacturing company. So that's how the company has grown so far. So M&A activity is nothing to do with the core value chain activities, starting from the R&D to the after services. But that's those core competencies SK Group have. So number 3, let's have a look at the examples of a company's core competencies. We can pick the Google. Google is an online search engine from the United States. So through the Google, you can type the keyword, and then they can convert you to any the site you want to have a look at. Okay, so they provide the search engine services free of charge, and then they moved to a lot of innovative products to other industries. So in Google, what could be Google's core competencies? It is said that scalable hardware infrastructure and high-end software engineering could be some of their core competencies, right? Because they should be very good at identifying the right the online site based on the keyword. Okay, so they should have a very good and high-speed hardware infrastructures, and also high-end software engineering step. Especially working in the online businesses, it's better for you to have a high-end software engineering step. And Google has a very amazing, very nice office culture. Why do they provide such an amazing office culture? Because creativity is something they really need in developing an innovative products or the services. And in Google, the thirst for innovation is one of the core competencies. So all the unicorn companies in the online industries such as Google or Kakao in South Korea won't have such core competencies such as amazing office culture or the corporate culture or innovation cultures, something like that. You may have heard about the Kakao, which is the short messaging service provider free of charge. So through the application of the Kakao, we can send our short messages free of charge, right? So it's a kind of social networking service providers like Facebook from the United States or WeChat from China. So I think every country has a similar player in their home country, or each country may use Kakao, Google, Facebook, or WeChat for their social networking services. The day before yesterday, I read a newspaper that the entire fortune of the founder of the Kakao is bigger than the entire fortune of the owner of the Samsung Group. Before the Kakao, Samsung Group was the richest company who has a lot of fortunes. But now the founder of the Kakao became #1 in terms of the wealth in South Korea. And a couple of years ago, I had a chance to exercise my management consulting projects for the Kakao. And the topic of my consulting service was how to foster their equal and creative culture among the employees. So that indicates how important they are trying to make a very amazing office culture as much as possible. Okay, so that's intangible asset, and that's really an important asset which cannot be easily replicated by the competitors. Let's think about examples of personal core competencies. Now it's time to think about core competencies at an individual level. Compare to your friends, compare to your colleagues. Please assess about your core competencies. I showed some of the examples of the personal level core competencies. Strategic planning, okay? If you are thinking as more structured way, and if you are a person who enjoys strategic thinking, and you enjoy planning and then execute something instead of just jumping into the actions, and you may say that that's my core competencies compared to my friends or the colleagues, strategic thinking or strategic planning. Or you may say that excellent interpersonal skills. So if you are a person who listen to others what they are saying, or you have a lot of curiosity, and then you are a person with empathy in active listening from your friends, and then you may be very excellent in interpersonal skills. Or you may say that you are a person of creativity. So you do not just look at one thing from a given perspective, but try to look at differently from out of box. And you are a person to propose a very different, stupid, or the something nobody has just thought about. So if you just propose something very differently, and you can be that can be your core competency, or the leaderships. If you are driving and leading something, and a lot of others may follow your directions, and then you can say that leadership is your core competencies. There are lots of other things we can say the core competency at an individual level. So when choosing your career, so it's like building your own strategy in pursuing your careers. So first thing you have to do is understanding what the companies you want to go may require. So for example, you want to go to the Samsung Electronics. So you want to work in that company, you want to work for that company. Or you may go to the other type of the institution, like commercial banks. And the core competencies or the capabilities Samsung Electronics may require might be totally different from the commercial banks may require, right? So in Google or the Kakao, they want a person with creativity, and they want a person with excellent interpersonal skills. But in Samsung, they want a person who is very good at leaderships. Or in Samsung, they want the people who have the strategic thinking instead of the interpersonal skills.